Today, I've been seeing nonstop comments asking, how are the NBA boycotts going to solve racism? Look at your news feed, right? Today, we're talking about Jacob Blake. We're talking about systemic racism. We're talking about police brutality. We're talking about the need for change, and that's largely in part due to these athletes taking a stand. Like, right now, posting anything that doesn't pertain to these issues feels tone deaf and irrelevant. And that's the power of this boycott. It's the removal of all distraction. This creates room for dialogue, it applies pressure, it inspires you to take action.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Craig Long 45 back with some more truth. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and notification bell so that you get notified every time I put out a new video or I go live. With that being said, Phil Jackson, the Hall of Fame and legend, retired in 2011. Had 11 championships, coached some of the greats like Michael Jordan. He has gone viral and he's getting backlash for it, for him speaking his truth and telling the truth. And we know who's giving that backlash, the obvious wokesters. He went on to a podcast called Tetragrammaton with Rick Rubin, and Rick Rubin interviewed him and asked him an array of different things. But the particular clip that I want to talk about today that is obviously going viral is the clip of where Rick Rubin is asking him, does he watch basketball anymore? And he simply responded, since 2020 bubble, we all remember the summer of love, the whole Antifa and Black Lives Matter democratic insurrection, the domestic terrorist actions of people being assaulted on the streets, criminality being normalized, the destruction of personal property and government buildings, even people losing their lives. Yeah, that whole 2020 bubble during the whole forced lockdowns of the Wuhan. Yes, everybody remembers it. And everybody remembers how sports was also. Well, Phil Jackson, he expressed very strongly with unapologetic tone that he stopped watching it because it basically went woke.
Do you still watch a lot of basketball or
no? I don't.
Tell me about that. When and did you stop immediately from the time you stopped coaching?
No, I didn't. I watched some of the game evolve and decided, and they went into the lockout year and they did something that was kind of wanky. They did a bubble down in Orlando, and all the teams that could qualify went down there and stayed down there.
No audience.
And they had things on their back like, justice. And I made a little funny thing like, Justice just went to the basket and equal opportunity just knocked him down. And somebody had another name for a guy who has jersey in the back of a jersey, had some other slogan. So my grandkids thought that was pretty funny to play up those names. So I couldn't watch that. And the Lakers won, actually. They won that year. And
do you feel like it just made little of the game, like it made it like a sideshow? What do you think it was that turned you off?
Well, it was. They even had slogans on the floor, on the baseline. It was catering.
It was.
It was trying to cater to an audience or trying to bring a certain audience into play. And they didn't know it was turning other people off, People want to see sports as non-political. We've had a lot of different type of players that have gone on to be like, Bill Bradley was a senator, number of baseball players been representatives and senators and political, but their politics stay out of the game.
Yeah, it's separate.
Doesn't need to be there.
Phil Jackson is absolutely correct, and I agree with him. I felt the same way, and there's many other people that feel the same way too. Nobody wanted to watch whack, woke NBA players with viral celebrity criminals on their shoes, socks, and jerseys. I couldn't believe they put that rhetoric on the court, put all that Black Lives Matter graffiti all on the court. And I can't stand the fact that we have NBA players hollering that they're oppressed when they get paid $30 to $40 million a year to dribble a basketball up and down the court. Very talented, but nobody wants to hear your social justice warriors like LeBron James bemoaning the fans and acting like he read in Malcolm X's book. Nobody wants to hear him saying that including himself and other black folks in this country, are somehow scared to death to come out the house because the police are hunting us down. Nobody wanted to watch that. Nobody wanted to hear this political pawn, domestic terrorist organization being plastered during what is supposed to entertain us. They are talented players that have been hired millions of dollars to dribble the ball up and down the court. We did not want to hear about viral celebrity criminals that made it to the mainstream. Football fields, basketball shoes, socks, and jerseys. Nobody wanted to see these people's names. Nobody wants to see justice when it's all just BS. If we look at the statistics of them looking at how many unarmed black folks were shot by police, you are more likely to getting stung by a bee. More likely of getting stung by a bee or struck by lightning. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. I think it was like around 19 that year. But when we look at all the other criminal stuff, it's like it's a selective outrage. And this is what I don't understand about these wokesters, these social justice warriors. They're selective outrage. What it is they just have an anger, hatred, and resentment towards white folks. And this organization, Black Lives Matter, which is nothing but a Skittles Mafia organization that ushered in and helped push the Democratic agenda, because that's what they are, is a pawn for the Democratic Party. They ushered in all this, destroyed the nuclear family, which is the black community is suffering from. Now we know they laundered took donations and was buying all kinds of mansions and so on and so forth. Now it's exposed for the frauds that they are. But people like me, we were screaming from the rooftop, telling you guys, this is poor leadership. They're literally telling people to rob Gucci stores and Macy's stores, and that's reparations. They literally were egging on and normalizing criminality, telling youth that were being opportunists to go out onto the streets and riot and loot. Black Lives Matter truly stands for burn, loot, and murder, because that's all they did during that year of 2020. So what Phil Jackson tells you, that he didn't want to watch, he doesn't watch basketball anymore because it got political and they started putting all this social justice warrior graffiti and rhetoric all over the basketball courts in their jerseys. He's speaking not only for himself, but how thousands, millions of other Americans feel when they watch what they used to love to watch, but somehow they turned it political and they wanted to do interviews with Peanut Head Queen James, faking like he's a social justice warrior and like he read a Malcolm X book. I'm telling you, he was correct. I feel it the same way. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Put it in the comments. I do read them. As always, y'all, I ain't going to make this video long. It's your boy, Craig Long 45. I got to keep telling the truth. You can't make this shit up. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, oi.